It's night time and we're all alone on the Coral Sea. It's dark and we've lost all power due to the flooded engines. The weather is atrocious and we've no control over the trawler. Our left boom has snapped off the mast, causing the boat to lean over about 50 degrees. We're anchored to the seabed by heavy fishing equipment full of prawns on both sides of the trawler. Minute by minute the trawler is sinking lower into the water as waves flow over our safety barriers. This is our perfect storm. Taking into consideration the situation that we find ourselves in now, it's only a matter of time before we have to abandon the ship. Our centre of gravity has now moved from the winch, located on the trawler deck, out over 7 meters to the pulley at the tip of the boom. The cable holding the fishing equipment that is anchoring us to the seabed is jammed in the pulley. There was only one thing to do. Climb up and out to the end of the boom and cut the cable below the pulley. The skipper didn't hesitate. Like a pirate with a hacksaw in his mouth, he crawled out onto the rocking boom. He shimmied out to the end of it and then disappeared under a wave. He knew that would happen. He knew he'd be in the water with the sharks, but he played the captain's role to save his boat. The three of us watched perched on top of the sorting table, trying to stay above the waves crashing onto the deck. I could see the skipper was struggling to do this alone. The longer he stayed out there, the more likely he was to be picked off by a shark. If he goes, we're all doomed. This was the moment I stared death in the face. My rational mind knew the weight of 2 people at the end of the boom meant we'd go down deeper and stay longer under the waves. That meant there was also a risk of drowning. But it was worth the risk. The time was now. It was our last and our only chance. I didn't hesitate. I decided to fight for the opportunity to save my life. I crawled out to him, careful to hold on tight when the waves crashed over my shoulder. I lay down and bear hugged him, clamping him onto the boom. We didn't have time to say anything before we were submerged underwater. At any point, the sharks could have picked us off the boom. We were like meat on a skewer. The skipper depended on me to hold him, and I depended on him to cut the wire. If either of us failed, we would all be dead. We were submerged again and again. I wanted to tell the skipper to hurry the f*** up, but I could see that he was carving into that wire as quickly as he could. I could tell his arm was slowing too, because my head was pressed up hard against his shoulder blade. Then, after what seemed like an eternity, the wire finally snapped and the boom recoiled up from the water. The next wave passed beneath us. Getting back to the trawler was psychologically harder than going out, because I could now clearly see all the shark fins swimming below us. One slip off this thin, wet boom would be fatal. We made it back to the deck, and then we spent hours bailing water out of the engine rooms to stay afloat. You know something? We had a rough night on the 15th of June, 1999.